Hi everybody, and welcome back to our New Year's Power Symbol Painting Marathon right here on Facebook. How are you all doing? Somewhere in the world right now it is New Year. So my husband and I would like to wish all of you a very prosperous and a blessed 2001. And I hope that you are celebrating and that you are safe and that you take care of yourselves and that you're painting along with us. It has been absolute fun. It is about 9 o'clock here in South Africa, and we are getting ready to really enjoy painting our power symbol for 2021. Now, like I said in my previous videos, my personal power symbol, one of them is the lotus flower. And hi Alicia, beautiful name. Welcome, tell us where you're from. Welcome back, Nan. I absolutely love your paintings and what you're doing. Those spirals are really powerful. So please remember to take photographs with each layer that you do of your paintings and share it as a post in our group so that we can rave over it with you and enjoy your creation of your power symbol amulet that you will enter 2021 with. So for this layer, now that this outline is dried, we can really begin to enjoy the process of being creative and simply enjoy painting. So what I've done is I've selected my favorite colors. So I'm just going to run through them. I've got a nice magenta, dioxazine purple, a lavender, a phthalo blue, phthalo green, I've got a cadmium yellow, and I've got titanium white. So I'm going to be playing a little bit with my lotus flower just to give you an idea. I'm going to be just demonstrating how you can use this outline now on your underpainting like a coloring book. So one of the basics that I would like to share with you is maybe to not use a brush that's too small depending on your canvas. I'm using a number 12 bright flat brush. Now remember, the numbering system is not universal across the planet, but if I can just hold this maybe against my thumb, you can see that it's not such a big brush, but it's also not a tiny petite little thing, because you will paint for a week before you will cover any area. And when you load up your brush, I'm going to just stand up to show you a little bit. Let's work with this magenta. Just drag your brush and work from the outside of your paint into your dollop that you've distributed. So now you've got a good paint load on your brush, but it's not dripping with paint, it's not overly saturated. Because what we are going to do now is we're going to basically use this as a coloring book. So I'm going to basically demonstrate to you here on the central petal of my lotus with my with my magenta, what I mean. So starting from the outside of my petal, and I didn't pre-wet my brush, so it's a little bit of a dry brushing technique. I'm going to start to bring in some of this color from the outside inwards. And I like a bit of a dry brush technique here, because then I also don't cover everything on the underneath of my underpainting completely. I don't want to, you know, literally repaint the whole thing. So I want to use some of these other underlying colors and textures and lines to shine through a little bit, and that will create a lot of visual interest in the painting. You can hear the children in my neighborhood playing. They are very excited. It's New Year's and they're allowed to be outside and to have fun. So I think as we approach midnight, it's only going to get noisier. A little tip that I can give you if you're working with a bright brush or during any stage of your painting, especially here by us, it's very hot and humid and the paint dries a bit fast. If you want a little bit more of a working time with your paint, or if you want to have a bit more blending time with your paint, just use a water spray and just mist your canvas. Don't saturate it, but just mist it a bit. And the same goes for your palette. If it dries out a bit, just give it a good misting so that your paint don't dry out on you too fast. And then you will be able to blend a little bit more before the paint dries out completely on you. Remember, this is one of the features of acrylic paint, is the fact that it dries rather fast, and that allows you to paint in layers, which is quite nice. I quite like that. Now my magenta has got a very nice translucency. I am going to add a drop of water to my paint brush just to improve the flowability a little bit. So the translucency of magenta in this case helps, you know, so that you don't lose all of your underpainting. It still shines through. And as I move to the center of my petal, it lightens up a bit. And that sort of helps with the three-dimensionality of my petal. Let's see, Joan. Hi Joan, welcome. Tell us where you're from and tell us what you're doing. It is so nice of you to join us in this live. I hope that you're painting along with us. So if you've only joined us now, there is previous sessions on our group. Just start with session 1 if you need to catch up, and everything is explained step by step for you, and share your progress with us. It's absolutely wonderful. Great, I'm going to move to this second petal here. And again the same, I'm just loading my brush with a bit of magenta on the toe of my brush, and I'm starting on the outline. And if it's drying on me a little bit, I can just mist it a bit. And that gives me a little bit of time to blend my magenta so that it doesn't make harsh lines that can be a bit garish to look at. So if you are one of those people that like to have things smoothed out a little bit, then your little water spray and a dry brush technique might be your best friends. Can you see how this is defining the petal? Let's do another one. I'm going to start with that one. And you'll see that any charcoal or chalk lines that you have on your canvas will just disappear because it's not a permanent medium. But my outline is remaining, and that is really helping me to define the areas that I am painting. Let's dry it out a bit, so let's give it a misting. Beautiful. It's as quick and as easy as that. Do you guys love it? I absolutely love it. Let's fill in another one. Now these outside petals of mine, I've drawn a little bit of a lip on the side, and the brightest color is usually on the outside of the lotus, and the inside of the lotus is usually a bit brighter or lighter. So I'm going to use my magenta on this little zone over here and keep the inside of that lotus petal lighter. Like so. Isn't that beautiful? That already defines that shape much better. Let's do the same on this outside one. Quick and easy. Now let's finish the top outside petals, and I'm going to do the same. I'm going to just fill in the little lip that I've added to my drawing. That will be a little bit darker than the inside. Remember I said I made a little bit of a mistake on this petal? Well, here I'm starting to make a correction on that. I'm going a little bit outside of my line that I drew to fill that in nicely. And there's a last one out on the outside over there. So that is the top part of my lotus, already better defined. So we do the same with these bottom lotus flowers, and just fill in the outside lip area of the petal. And that will include this part here. Now another tip I can give you. Hi Myra, nice of you to join us. Let me just wave at you. Another tip I can give you is you can use the drying time of your acrylic paint to your advantage. Like I said, if you want to blend a bit, you can keep the paint a little bit wetter by either misting it or adding some water to your paint. Just be mindful not to add too much water, otherwise it can start to run. There does also exist some kind of medium that you can add to your paint. It's called a paint extender. You add a few drops to your paint, and what it does, it makes it almost gel-like, and it will take a little bit longer to dry. But that is ideal for larger paintings or larger areas that you want to blend and you don't want it to dry out too soon. So don't stress about that, it's just a tip. On the other hand, when you allow a layer to dry, it's a good idea if you want to add something on top of it. So I might want to, do some blending or add some other colors to this. If I don't want the under layer that I've just put down, if I don't want it to smear or be disturbed, I need to wait for this to dry completely before I add something on top of it. But that's one of the advantages of acrylics that makes it such fun to work with. If you understand these fundamental basics of how the medium works, really the world is your oyster. I'm going to rinse out my brush because I'm going to switch colors now, and I'm also going to switch to a little bit of a bigger brush because I want to start working on the background before we end this live. So I'm going to go for a nice big brush, and this one is a number 10. Again, I'm going to show you against the palm of my hand. It's not such a big brush, but it's much bigger. And this one has a little bit of a rougher kind of bristle, maybe hog or something like that. So that is also quite nice to scumble with. So scumble is when you really just scrub the paint into your canvas. So I've got my phthalo green and my phthalo blue here, and I'm going to mix them. The two together with a bit of white makes the most beautiful blue-green color. So I'm going to add a dash of white to it. Maybe a little bit more. There we go. And I'm going to start to paint in the lake and to block my lotus flower. So let's start here, because I think the whole thing in the background is going to be my lake. So I'm going to go right against my outline of my lotus flower, and again I'm just going to block in this zone. And start to scumble. Scumble is really when you just use a dry brushing and you start to work the paint into the surface. Now can you already see how the lotus is standing out a little bit more, because we are doing a bit of a contrasting blocking technique here. I'm using the side of my brush in these tricky little corners. Sounds to me like a lot of people is excited to let go of 2020. But I don't really blame them. This was a bit of a challenging year for most of us. So again, if it dries too quickly on you, you can just use your mister. Mine is almost empty, I'll have to fill it soon. And before the paint dries, it gives you an opportunity just to spread out that paint a little bit more. And you can also see it almost, in this case, thins out my paint a little bit more, which is quite nice. Like I said, the aim of the game here is not to completely hide what is in the background. If you can incorporate it into your painting, it will create a lot of visual interest and give you a little bit more of a artistic finish to your painting. That might be quite exciting. So also don't panic if you do completely cover up your underpainting. It took me a number of years and practice not to lose my underpainting completely. So don't be hard on yourself. There's no right or wrong. All of these little tricks of the trade and techniques will come to you as you play with the canvas and as you spend a little bit more time at the canvas, honing your skill. I just dipped the tip of my brush in some water just to improve the flowability of my paint. Let's do the same on that side. Again, you can see where I'm holding my brush. I'm not holding my brush right at the front because that's a lot of firm control. Rather go for the middle, even to the back of your brush, so that you have a little bit more of a painterly, looser control of your paintbrush. And just fumble, dry brush, just blend the paint into the canvas and allow the shade of paint to just gently glaze over the background. I'll show you a photograph afterwards and you can zoom in. You'll see all that background markings that we did is still visible. It's just muted. It's gone to the background. So another tip I can give you is to use warmer colors, for example, in your in your symbol that you want to focus on and use cooler colors in the surrounding area around it. Why do I say that? Cooler colors recede and warmer colors come forward. So if you want your symbol to stand out a little bit more for you, try to use warmer shades like oranges, reds, yellows and warmer pinks in your symbol, if that suits you, and cooler shades or darker shades in your background to recede that and to soften that away for you. But again, there's no right or wrong. I'm just giving you a few tips that you can play with at the canvas. See what works for you. Remember, it's just paint. It's paint on a canvas. There's no right, there's no wrong. You can always change it. You can always add another layer and make the changes that you want to see at the canvas. That's what the name of the game is with this, and that's what makes it so much fun. I'm just going to add a bit of water here. So if you guys would like to get into some of these techniques, check out the learning units that I have made available for you on our beautiful group. It is called Painting Made Easy. There is 4 modules in the learning units, and I take you through this amazing Painting Made Easy methodology of painting step by step in there. It is all available for you. It's free of charge, and you can do it at your own pace. So that will definitely ground you in this technique, and it will give you ample opportunity to practice, take photographs, share it with us, tag me in your post so that I don't miss it. And if you want to have some technique, or you have a question, or you want to know a bit more, you want to have my feedback, I'm more than willing to do that for you, to help you in your creativity practice. So you get the gist of what I'm doing, of how I'm filling in the spaces on my canvas. I'm going to continue enjoying painting my beautiful lotus flower, and I will share progress photos with you on our group, and I'll see if there is a need for another live a little bit later. But you guys are more than welcome to join in, and if you have any questions, post them here. I will answer them for you, and I will see you guys at the canvas real soon. Please share your beautiful paintings with us, and we are here to cheer you on. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.